Chapter 13. Stream ciphers. This chapter covers pseudo-random number generators, functions for combining the random numbers with the message, generating true random numbers, hash functions. Stream ciphers are the opposite of block ciphers. Characters in stream ciphers are enciphered as they are encountered, usually one at a time. The basic concept is to take a stream of message characters and combine them with a stream of key characters to produce a stream of ciphertext characters. This paradigm is well suited for continuous operation, where messages are continuously enciphered and transmitted at one end, and continuously received and deciphered at the other end, with no pauses, or only momentary pauses to change keys. We have already seen a few stream ciphers, the auto key and running key ciphers in section 5.9, the rotor machines of section 5.10, Huffman substitution in section 10.4, and the ciphers based on text compression in section 10.7 are all examples of stream ciphers. Section 13.1. Combining functions. The most common types of stream ciphers use one key unit to encipher one plaintext unit. The units are usually letters or bytes, but hex digits or even bits can also be used. The key unit is combined with the plaintext unit using essentially the same combining functions that were used with the ripple ciphers in section 11.8, but using a key unit in place of the preceding unit. Here are the analogous methods, with xn being the nth unit of the message, kn being the nth unit of the key, A and B being simple substitutions, and P being a general polyalphabetic substitution. The substitutions A, B, and P should be mixed using keys, not fixed or built in. Since XOR or SXOR may leak information about its operands, I recommend using X or S instead, so that the simple substitution is done after the exclusive OR to mask the waveforms, namely AKN exclusive OR XN. A stream cipher may also use one or more previous characters to encipher the current character. There are many combinations. One example is PKN exclusive OR XN-I, XN, for the small integer I. This cipher requires an initialization vector to encipher the first I characters. A stream cipher can also be strengthened by switching among several combining functions, for example periodically switching among the three forms of SAD or of MAD, or by periodically varying the multipliers P and Q in MAD. Section 13.2. Random numbers. The long keys used in the stream ciphers listed in the previous table can come from several sources. They may be a list of numbers repeated as many times as needed. This was the standard method from the 16th through the 19th centuries. They may be generated by a mathematical process. Such numbers are called pseudo-random because they eventually repeat, as opposed to true random numbers which never repeat. The process that generates these numbers is called a pseudo-random number generator, PRNG. They may be true random numbers that might be generated by some physical process, such as gamma rays from an exploding star. Such processes are usually too slow for cryptographic needs, so these random numbers are usually collected over time and stored in the computer for later use. That is, they may be collected continuously and used only when you need to send a message. Books and articles about cryptography often state that you need true random numbers for a secure cipher. They point out that it has been mathematically proven that a one-time pad using a true random key cannot be broken. This is certainly true, provided that for every plaintext unit P and every ciphertext unit C, there is a key unit K that transforms P into C, that is, S of K P equals C. A true random key is sufficient to make a one-time pad unbreakable. However, as everyone who has studied logic knows, a condition can be sufficient without being necessary, and vice versa. For example, for an integer to be a prime, it is necessary for it to be greater than 1. That is necessary, but not sufficient, since 4 is an integer greater than 1, but is not a prime. For an integer to be composite, it is sufficient for it to be a square greater than 1. That is sufficient, but not necessary, since 6 is composite, but not a square. Requiring that the key for a one-time pad must be a true random is overkill. To make the one-time pad unbreakable, the key must be unpredictable, also called cryptographically secure. With a true random key, no matter how many key units Emily may know, it is impossible for her to determine any other units. With an unpredictable key, it only needs to be computationally infeasible for Emily to determine any other units. Specifically, the amount of work Emily needs to do to determine another key unit must be greater than 2 to the power k, where k is your chosen key size in bits. It is true that when the key stream is only pseudo-random, you can no longer prove that the cipher is unbreakable, but this has no practical significance. Later in this chapter, I will describe several schemes to make pseudo-random number generators cryptographically secure, and point out one secure-looking scheme that is insecure, namely CG5, described in section 13.13. All of the stream ciphers listed earlier can utilize pseudo-random number generators to produce the key stream, so let's look at a variety of PRNGs, starting with some classical methods from the 1950s. These generators use a small initial value called the seed, or the initial state, and some simple mathematical function that generates the next state from the current state, called the state vector. Common generating functions are addition, multiplication, and exclusive OR. These generators are still in wide use today because of their great speed and easy implementation. Each generator produces a sequence of integers that eventually repeats after a period that depends on the seed. It is possible to have a repeating sequence of numbers that never repeats the seed, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, but none of the generators in this book have that behavior. The period is limited by the size of the state vector. For example, a generator whose state vector is 3 31-bit integers cannot have a period longer than 2 to the power of 93.